How's it going, YouTube? My name is ElvinNinja7, your favorite WoW healing content creator. And guys, today we're going to be making a video breaking down how to sim a healer, because it is not as simple as simming a DPS. However, it's very powerful. It can help you make a lot of difficult choices very easy, like dumb them down. And I'm basically going to show you all the tools that I use, all the different decisions that I make with gearing a character using QE Live and you know, some other tools. And first off, we're going to come over here and look at what a BIS list is. Now, I know a lot of you guys have seen these before because a lot of us use these a lot, but it's just a list of all of your character's best in slot gear, the best possible piece in any given slot. So this is the best headpiece, the best neck, so on and so forth. However, these can be, they themselves are not misleading. However, people have been misled by how they perceive these. So what a BIS list is think of it like this. You have a naked monk or whatever you're playing. If you're playing a druid, then you'll go to the Wowhead druid page and look at their BIS list. But you have a naked healer with no gear, and you're looking at a head slot. What helmet that you can get will boost your healing the most? And that's kind of how each individual selection is made. There is no relation between these pieces other than like maybe tier pieces. It just auto assumes that you have the tier set. But there's no relation in picking the best in slot back piece alongside picking the best in slot leg piece. Why do I bring that up? Well, if you look at this list, I've imported this into a simulating website, and we're going to look at what that looks like. So this is what a character would look like if they had all 470 item level of all of the BIS, BIS list piece of gear. So right off the bat, the first thing that probably throws you off is we're going to get into QE Live and how to use it. But this is all of the gear, or this is the stats that this gear gives your character. So you see we have 6.7% leech. I'm sure that's from the leech pants. We have 41, almost 41% haste. That is already way too much. I can go ahead and tell you that. We have a fine amount of crit, a fine amount of verse, a pretty low amount of mastery, but that's fine. But mostly we are just wasting a lot of stats by pumping so much into haste that we're pushed over that 30% soft cap. After you hit 30% haste, you start to get diminishing returns on every bit of haste that you have. So already I know that this is not the best possible gear because we're inefficient with our stats. However, this is the BIS weapon, this is the BIS wrist, this is the BIS chest piece, and so on. So when you look at a BIS list and say that you're trying to, free ball gearing your character without simming at all, just know that this is like a skeleton. This is a guide. You don't need to follow the guide completely. Say that you find the best weapon, you see that these two trinkets are farmable, and then you see that this leg piece that always has leech is farmable, and then you can craft the elemental lariat. You get those pieces, and then you go from there. And ideally, you always sim. But like I said, if you're free balling, just, you do you, but always sim. You will find the best possible pieces of gear that you personally can equip or you personally can farm by simming. So let's go and break down how to sim. And we're going to start simple and then get harder as we go. So first up, the only thing that you need in advance is this one add-on. Now, whatever add-on software you use, that's totally fine. But for the most part, you literally only need one add-on to sim your character. And that add-on is called Simulation Craft. So go ahead and download that at the start of this. It's a very small add-on, very non-invasive, but very impactful. Now, what does Simulation Craft do, the add-on? Well, if we come back here to WoW, all it does is convert your character into this long string of text that the simulation websites can read. So if you notice here, it says all the pieces of gear on your character in your bags, all the pieces of gear that you have on your character will be loaded into this text string, and you just click Control Copy because it's already highlighted. You can click OK. And once we have that copied, we come on over here to QE Live. So QELive.com. And you see here, I've already done this for a lot of my characters, like these top three here. But if you're brand new to QE Live, you will not see anything under characters here. What you do is you just insert your log that you just copied, or not your log, your simulation craft. So you see here, I have it copied, and I'm going to paste here, and it pastes every bit of information about my character currently in the game. All the pieces of gear that I have are now loaded into the website once I hit submit. And now your character will be loaded here. So now I have my monk loaded here, and it knows what class your character is because that long string of text tells it. So I have my monk, and we can go ahead and click here. The most basic thing about simming your character is finding what pieces that you have, what arrangement of pieces that you have that gives you the best output. And that is done by clicking top gear. So you see here, I clicked top gear, and this is going to simulate all the pieces that I have. I have all these helmets in my bag. I only have the one crafted necklace. I have all these shoulders. I have all these pieces of gear. And right now I only have it selected the ones that I have equipped. But say I wanted to see, like, would it be better for me to equip this tier set helmet or to equip this, other helmet? And then, like, say I scroll down here to my trinkets. What are these the two best trinkets? Or, maybe I want to get the class trinket back, or maybe I want to see if Rashox is good again, or maybe Balefire Branch. I've heard a lot about that. Should I equip that? And you can kind of select up to 30 items down here that you want to sim versus each other. And then now this is where it'll start to like relate each piece of gear to each other. So Abyss List does not do that. It's just individual slots independent of the others, but this does take into account all the other gear that you have. So then after we've selected all the gear that we want to test, we can hit go. So let's hit go. And you see here, I already have all the best, for me, all the best gear possible equipped. However, this does tell you if you did want to make some slight adjustments. So say that I wanted to ditch the Blossom of Amirdasil for my Neltharian's trinket. I could, but I would miss out on a little bit of HPS. However, these are competitive alternatives. So you'll see here, I will barely lose any HPS, only 316 HPS. So if I wanted to do that, I 100% could. Or say I'm just bad at managing mana, which you guys know I am, or I have been lately, and I was like, well, I'd sacrifice 738 HPS to have a little bit more mana. Sure, you could do that, and that's very helpful to just see what pieces you have currently and how you can, manipulate or rearrange those to get the best output for yourself. And like I said, currently it's going to show you what the best possible simming pieces of gear that you have are. But that is only like step one on the ladder. We're going to get a lot more in depth in this video. So the next thing I want to show you is, if you notice here, I have a lot of pieces that are at 476. So let's just take into account this helm and this shoulder piece. So I know that I can upgrade these two pieces because they're heroic 4 out of 6. I can upgrade them each 2 more times if I wanted to. Say I had like the amount of crests. Say that I had the amount of crests that I could upgrade one item to 6 out of 6 heroic. Now, obviously, you just don't want to blindly throw in your crest. You want to take the most optimal approach. How do you do that? Well, let's say that I was debating whether I upgrade my helmet or whether I upgrade my shoulder piece. Let's go ahead and do that. So what you can do in QE Live, wrong tab. What you can do in QE Live is you can come back here to the gear selection where we selected which pieces of gear to kind of like put in the pit and see which one's better. And you can add fake temporary gear. You can trick this system into thinking that you have certain pieces of gear so that you can sim different things. And this is where we can get really creative. So let's start at the basics. So say that we're going to upgrade our 476 pieces to 483, the max heroic pieces. Let's go ahead and do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a fake helmet in our bags. So Mystic, Herons, Hatsuburi, and we're going to say that it's item level 483. So pretending that we've maxed out our helmet. And you see here, it's going to add it as if we had it. And then we're going to do the same for shoulders. So Hopeful Effigy. So Mystic, Herons, Hopeful Effigy. And we're going to do the same for that, 483. Now, once we add that, now you see here we have a 483 and a 476 shoulder, a 483 and a 476 helmet. So let's go ahead and sim it. And now, obviously, it's going to say, hey, dummy, just equip both the 483s. Duh. That's not what we're looking at. We want to look down here at the competitive alternatives. And it's these two that we want to look at. So we notice if we equipped, or if we have equipped this list of gear, but instead of whatever shoulders we have in there, we have this pair of shoulders in instead, then we would only lose this much HPS, so 0.2%. But if we had this list, so the 483 shoulders and the 476 helm, then we would lose this much, 0.28. So we know that if I were to max my helmet, but keep this 476 shoulder piece in, I would gain the most. I would only, I would gain the most healing. So then that's one way that you can make a decision, is just by saying, oh, okay, so if I had the 476 shoulders, that would be better. So then I know it's better for me right now to upgrade my helm than my shoulders. And that's just step one, like I said. Let's get a little bit more complicated. So I have now opened my vault. So it is Tuesday, and oh my gosh, you can tell it is so laggy. And if we look here at what I've gotten from the vault, if it'll ever let me, I have gotten a sea star, which is a great trinket for us. It's one of our best. I've gotten a necklace. I've gotten the mythic hand tier piece and a couple other pieces that are a lot less like sexy. So basically just these two are the most sexy ones that I'm seeing right now. So now how this works, how Simulation Craft works, is it looks at your entire character, and that includes what's in the vault. So if I load up my sim craft and we scroll all the way down, we can see weekly reward choices is also listed. So it kind of shows our vault pieces, end of weekly reward choices. So everything between these two lines is my vault. So if I copy this now that I've opened my vault and come on over to QE Live once again, I can come back to gear selection and I can import my gear. So I can now import my character again. And you see here, it's added all my vault slot pieces. So we have all these highlighted pieces that I've selected. And then we have all these dotted line pieces that are the great vault pieces right here. So if I wanted to see what is the best piece for me to take out of the vault, and also let's go ahead and remove these. Okay, it removed it since I imported my new gear. So yeah, you see all 6 of the vault slots that I have are loaded in, including, where is it? C-Star here. So let's go ahead and sim now, and it'll show me, it treats the great vault slots different. It'll say, oh, we know you can only have one of these. So what is the best one for us to take? Now, if there was no vault slot gear that were upgrades for me, it would show me the same gear that I already had, kind of like you're seeing on the screen now. But here I am unveiling the rest of it, and it says, hey, if you want the best possible upgrade from your vault, that is 100% the myth hand pieces. So now I know on the base value, the game or QE Live is simming or telling me that the hand pieces in my vault are the best pieces. And you see here it's highlighted in blue just to remind me that that's a vault piece. And you see their great vault. However, once again, if we come down to this competitive alternative section, it's saying, hey, if you kept the same hands that you have at the same level and took the C-Star, it's pretty close. C-Star is pretty close if you wanted to. So you could look at this and kind of determine, oh, well, if it's really close, I really like that item. Like say Jdotb was here and it was like, it's really close, but and you were just someone who really wanted Jdotb, you could take that if you wanted to. However, this is still only base value. We're still on like step 3 of the ladder. Let's tick it up a notch by getting more creative with this sim. So what do I mean by that? Well, QE Live doesn't just have this tool here. It also has some other pretty interesting tools. So you see here, we have the upgrade finder selection or section, I guess. And you can kind of put in what pieces of content you are able to push. So if I know I can grind plus 20s, I can tick this up to plus 20. You don't necessarily need to put these because these are all only gained by the vault or by upgrading. But you can just put 470 item level, and then you can say, okay, I do push heroic, I do push mythic, I also push normal, or basically you can only do 2. So you want to do heroic and mythic if you push those. What are my best upgrades? And you click go, and it'll compare all the possible pieces of gear in each form of content with what you have on your body or what you've simmed into here, what you've loaded into here. So I see there are 4 possible upgrades in Gnarl Root. Now they're both It's 2 in Mythic, 2 in Heroic, and you can see how much of an HPS gain it would give you. You can do that for Raid, you can do that for Dungeons, and see like, oh, if I grind Dawn of the Infinite, Galakrond's Fall, there's still 1 piece that would be an upgrade. And so on and so forth. You can kind of look through all the dungeons. Or if you know you have all the materials to upgrade it, I guess we could go ahead and go back here to the upgrade finder, and we can tick this up to like, what was it, 483 is the max heroic pieces. So you can go ahead and hit go and go back to the dungeons and see, okay, I could grind pieces that I can upgrade. Now there are more pieces that are upgrades for me. So at Taldazar, you have a lot of small upgrades. Versus Galakrond's Fall, we have a plus 0.43% upgrade, so it would be better for us to grind this piece, and so on and so forth. So you can really just instantly find instant upgrades here. And this is also helpful if you're, say you're raiding with your guild and a piece of gear drops and your guild leader is, you're rolling for gear and it's you versus someone else, and they're like, hey, is this really an upgrade for you? You can come here to the upgrade finder, say it's like, what's a piece? Say it's like a mythic Blossom of Ymir-Drasil. You can come here to, I think it's Lorador. Where is it? Where does Blossom drop? I think it's Fyrak. Yeah. So you come here to Fyrak and you're like, okay, if we got a mythic Blossom, it would be a 0.62% upgrade. And then your other healer could sim it as well. And if it's only a 0.5, then your raid lead could use that if they need to. But that is very good. That's a very good tool to find instant upgrades. But what we're going to be looking at, and what could be useful in this video, is the trinket list. Now this is kind of just like a best in slot list for your trinkets as well. And you see here, this one, it was simming incorrectly last week, but they fixed it and now it's simming at the top. But you see here, you have a list of how much they add to each of your classes. So this is specific to Mistweaver. If I load up, you see here, it's Seedling, Tearstone, Ymir-Drasil. But if I load up my Druid, it'll look a lot different. So Pips is at the top. So let's come on back over here to our Monk and let's go to the trinket list. And yeah, like I said, it starts at the top and goes all the way down to the worst trinkets. And usually these are like questing trinkets, but it also shows you how much each performs at certain levels. So if I got this Blossom at a LFR value, it would perform better than an Echoing Tearstone at like, what is that, 457 item level. So you can really see how much each one kind of pushes ahead of the other. But just like Abyss list kind of is just looking at that individual slot, this trinket list also just looks at that. So although Blossom is number 3 in terms of how good it is or how much throughput it can provide, if you were to sim your character, say that you're like me and you have 35% haste, this loses a lot of value from that. So it's always good to look at this like a roadmap, and then you can come back to the simming and get the absolute answer. So that's what we're going to do. We know that we have a Blossom. We know that we have, I think it's a Pips, which is our 5th or 6th. And we know that we have a C-Star in the vault here. But what we're going to do is we're going to sim Echoing Tearstone and Coagulated Genosar Blood, since those are also farmable. So let's come back to QE Live. Let's go back to finding our top gear, and let's sim that. Let's sim a couple different things. So we're going to trick the system into thinking that we have a Coagulated Genosar Blood at, say that we could max it at 483, and we're going to add that. Now the game thinks that we have that. And then we're going to do the same with Echoing Tearstone. Echoing Tearstone, since we could farm that as well, theoretically, although I've done 1,000 Everblooms and still haven't gotten a Coagulated Blood. Now let's plug this in. So we've added these trinkets. Let's plug this in to the sim. Let's go and highlight some other trinkets that we have just to see what would be best. Should I grind these pieces? And you see here, it's already like, yeah, this tells me that C-Star is great. It's a great immediate short-term improvement. And if I wanted to take it, it would be my second best option, because if you remember, it was right here. However, if I were able to farm, give it enough time, if I farm these other trinkets, it would be replaced pretty soon. So that still is leading me to believe that this hand piece is a better upgrade for me personally. I plugged in these 2 farmable trinkets that I could technically, theoretically farm if I had enough time and patience, but it's still telling me that I would just replace that C-Star. You don't even see it down here anymore. Did I select it? I'm pretty sure I did. Let's go back to gear selection. Pretty sure I did select it, right? Yeah, it's still selected. So it's just telling me, hey, that sea star just does not compete with these other ones. But let's do something else. Let's remove these two fake trinkets. Let's go and remove all these trinkets that we know are just not going to compete. And let's test something else. So I know that this 480 Mythic Track handpiece, it's telling me, is the best. But I also know, oh my gosh, I also know that I have a 470 handpiece. Where is it? A 470 handpiece just waiting to be catalyzed in my bags. So if I wanted to test it, what would it look like if I were to catalyze this piece of gear? I can come up here and just add it. What was it called? Glove. It was something gloves. Mystic Aaron's glove bills. So if I were to catalyze this, it would become a 470 Mystic Aaron's glove bills. 470 Mystic Aaron's glove bills. Oh, why did I put 470? Mystic Aaron's glove bills. And I add this, treat it as if I did just catalyst this piece or catalyze this piece. Then I can come back here and test, oh, well, if I were to catalyze that piece and then take the sea star from the vault, it would be better for me in the short term than taking that 480 piece of gear. So you can really get creative in how you sim things. And this is just what I do all day when I try to pick out what I'm taking from the vault. Yes, there is a definitive answer that if I were to just not make any other choices and just pick a vault piece, this hand piece would be best. But then you can kind of look at your gear, reassess things, move things around. You can fake it like you've upgraded some pieces. You can fake it like you've catalyzed some pieces and really make the best, most informed decision from that. And then the last thing that I'm going to show you, I've shown you the trinket page. I've given you everything that I can think of right now in the top gear selection to give you all the little tools that you can mix and match to find your best piece whenever you open the vault, and give you all the tools to simming your character. But last up, I want to look at embellishments. And just like trinkets, this is just going to be a list of all of your embellishments. And you see here, Elemental Lariat. I've been asked a ton, what should I embellish? I know we only get 2 embellishments. What are the best? The 2 best are hands down Elemental Lariat by a mile, and that's why it sims better than any other necklace. And then Verdant Tether, the ring craft. This tethers you with an ally and gives you both a verse buff. That's great. Verse scales all of our healing, scales our damage, which then scales our Mythic Plus and Ancient Teachings healing. And then those are going to perform better than Toxic Thorn Foot Wraps. And you see your Undulating Spore Cloak here down here. But just like in the past, if you already have 2 great rings, you can kind of add a Verdant Tethered ring into the sim and just check everything. You can also check your DPS here and see that the boots would give you the most DPS. So if you're a Mythic Plus pusher and you only care about that DPS, you can go with something like Elemental Lariat and the boots. And you'd be fine. You would miss out on this much HPS, but you would gain this much DPS. Well, I guess it would be a ton of DPS. That is a ton. DPS difference. So you can really mix and match with this on the embellishment thing to find your best embellishments. And like everything in this video, I was using my Mistweaver as an example, but hopefully I showed you guys that you can do it for any healer. You can find any healer's top gear. You just import that character's simulation craft data and you should be good to go. Now, I have a couple decisions to make. I think I'm going to take those mythic hands in the long run because I'm holding out hope that I'm going to get some better trinkets. Here's to hoping. But you can make your decision as however you want. I just hope that now it's a more informed decision now that you know how to use QE Live. And if there's any other questions, anything that I may have forgotten to go over, or you just have another question about something that I didn't mention, feel free to hit me up in the comments or join my Discord. It's in the description below, and hit me up on Discord. I answer every question that's asked in my Discord and in my DMs. Feel free, however you prefer to contact me. I'll always be able to respond to you guys. But thank you so much for watching this video, and especially a huge thanks to my Patreons. guys, this channel would not be possible, and I would be back to working at like a grocery store if it weren't for these guys. So huge shout out to these guys. Thank you so much. They are what makes this LBNinja7 channel possible. Once again, if you want to see your name on the screen alongside these guys, then make sure and check out that Patreon link down in the description below. There are plenty of different tiers. If you can't support in big ways, you can support in small ways, and it's just as impactful to me. Makes my heart happy. Thank you guys so much for watching, and on your way out, make sure and hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Also, I did just pass 5,000 subs. Don't think that there's nothing coming. I do have something planned for that. I'm trying to set it up with this being the holidays coming up. It's kind of hard to pick a good day to do what I have planned, but yeah, stay tuned for that. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was good. I hope I, gave you everything, because it's always scary making videos like this. I write down everything I can think of to go over, and then I always miss something and don't know until after I posted. So make sure and help fill in the blanks down in the comments below. But thank you guys so much. I could say it 10,000 times, but I'll just say it 10,000 times in the next video. I'll see you guys then. Until then, take care.